better than that. Nah. It's my turn.
Rotten old prestige. Each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river. Try it all.
Oh, come on,
Sir, please. You've lost.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your...
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out on...
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Did I black out? Whoa, I feel giddy.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you.
Yes, Dorothy Crane.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, so
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after...
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even Crip.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in...
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton?
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless.
Are you a...
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith,
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no match.
Have you made friends?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly...
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton?
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel...
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the bet.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I...
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Boil with the fever. I have wasted too much energy for so little result.
It's locked. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now. If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but
Sorry.
some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where
It's
is...
the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. Good evening.
Dr. Reed. Still working.
And why?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more...
I'll leave.
What's that do? What's that do?
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody. balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement. These scowls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood. It's locked, all right. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fish. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And Tippett has made an egregious error. These scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Good evening. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague.
A colleague?
I not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Jadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Jadana, pawnbroker.
What do you mean? You used to be a doctor.
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir. All kind of people.
What kind of...
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But... It never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead, seem peaceful and lost at the same time.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my...
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive...
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you,
Be careful what you insinuate.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation.
Thank you for your time.
I will not let you down. I'm so tired.
Good evening, sir.
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about...
I see. Would you mind telling...
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about the doctors who are up...
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
I'm all right.
Yes, Doctor?
Waste your time with me.
Exactly how bad is this?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts for monies, but with the quarantine, well, we're in God's hands.
That's all for now.
Words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going...
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good...
Thank you.
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern...
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your...
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of...
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer.
Tell me about yourself, Miss.
I don't want to talk, Doc.
How painful is your...
So painful I'd rather not talk.
I'll let you get some.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, madam.
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What do you think of your reception here?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice. Considering the state of...
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Goodbye, Mrs. Gos.
Daily routine.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital.
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the wind.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft?
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it's such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have straight...
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, sir. Can I help?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head...
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they...
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person. She's quite harmless, I can assure you.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes...
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real.
Where were you stationed, sir?
I really don't want to talk.
No offense. I was pushing...
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir.
Goodbye for now, mister. Good evening, sir.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak...
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have...
I have some good news.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet, with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as...
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
If only there were more of us, with less resignation.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr...
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile. I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected note.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have...
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett?
I can't say I approve of what you did. But as a field surgeon, I know that some situations require you to bend...
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain...
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible...
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about...
No, we must keep on...
You've nothing to prove, Dr. Tippett, to anybody. And we all praise your experience. Please, have some rest.
I am perfectly fine, and I am not too old for the...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
As for me...
Finally, you've returned, Doctor.
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for...
Will this shift never end?
Good evening, Mr. God.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help? You are not a burden, sir. Healing you...
And you have my gratitude.
I have to go.
Doctor.
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Hey!
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have...
I'll leave you.
We've dodged death so many times. Please, sir.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton...
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, from the Pen...
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but Well, we had a disagreement.
How long have you been searching for?
I can't go there. Too many...
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Where was your friend?
He went down by the canal.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came.
This is a dangerous part of...
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital.
What can you tell me about you?
I'm Oswald's best friend.
I have all the information.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Mistress of the dark has stopped following me. Thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if...
A spokesman or politician is what you...
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that if...
And you would like me to...
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside.
Accepted. I'll see...